Just how critical is the return of Texas safety Michael Taff to the lineup against Georgia on Saturday night? What is Texas gaining? Perhaps its best defensive player in the secondary. And what might this change for Georgia, a team that looks like one of the best teams in college football, but has an opportunity to really prove that once again at Sanford against a really talented Texas team. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Michael Taff's return to the Texas lineup is going to make a tremendous difference as Texas goes to Sanford to do what just two teams have done since October 12th, 2019, and that is go into Athens, Georgia, and come out with a win? I think there's reason to have belief on Texas' side, and I think there's also reason to go, if you're a Georgia Bulldog, about the return of Michael Taff. I think for me, you're getting back your best communicator and maybe your best player in your secondary in Michael Taff, a guy who has not played football since October 20th and underwent surgery. And really, the secondary has been, well, shall we say, gettable, right? We're talking about particularly games against Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. Mississippi State, Blake Shapen goes 27 to 43 for 382 with 5 TDs. And then Diego Pavia went for 27 of 38, 365 with 3 TDs. They ain't been great. Now, Michael Taff was in the lineup when DJ Lagway threw for 298 and that lost to Florida. So you could say it's not about throwing for 300 yards. It is about being in position to really put the clamps down on an offense that might be struggling, right? So I think about the Vanderbilt game, it's a comeback. The Mississippi State game is also a comeback. Kentucky, low scoring game. They won it, right? It had more to do with the offense than it did with the defense. Florida just had them. They knew what they were looking at, and Dallas Wilson knew exactly where to be, and DJ Lagway knew how to hit him. That was one of the best performances that we saw from Florida over the last 2 years. Going back actually to the Georgia game that they played with DJ Lagway, he just needed to leave the game due to injury, and they just weren't able to sustain that sort of success. And that's why Billy Napier got fired. But the thing that I believe that Steve Sarkisian is getting back, what Pete Kwiatkowski is getting back, he actually said this on Thursday, and it's worth me giving the full weight of the quote here about Michael Taff and his return to the lineup and what it might mean. Quote, he obviously plays with a great deal of confidence. He's a high-level communicator for us. I think those two things are calming for the other guys around him. When there's a high level of confidence in the communication, there's a high level of confidence in the style of play. I think that spreads to the guys around him, and you feel their confidence level shift and adjust. They're communicating with more confidence as well. And that is, I think, well said, right? It is about what he's allowing for the rest of the defense to do, which is to play, as Sarkisian said, with a high level of confidence. We know what we see. We know how to attack it. If we do our jobs, we will get the desired result, right? I understand that many of us want to trust the process, but there are people that allow you to trust the process. And some of those are very smart football players that go, no, I got it. This is what we need to be in. This is why we need to be in it. And I got your back. And as a safety, that's invaluable for a linebacker, right? That's invaluable for a defensive lineman. And more importantly, quarterbacks, right? Hey, if you pinch him to the boundary and somehow he gets inside, it's cool. I got it. I'm playing center field. I'm not going to leave you out there by yourself. We understand where we're supposed to be. We understand what happens if wide receivers cross us or if we get pick plays. These are great, right? And Michael Taaffe is a guy who had to be very smart to get to a place like Texas so that his athleticism could shine. Really had an outstanding 2024 season, trying to cap that off. They're facing a Georgia team that's pretty good. They've averaged 33.4 points per game so far. It ain't really about them scoring 40. It's about them moving the football and being able to run the football. And with a guy like Michael Taaffe, you need him in the box as well. One of the things that I think is cool about Michael Taaffe, also kind of like, ooh, Texas. He's your third leading tackler with 51 tackles, and he has not played since October 20th. That's great for him. I'm not sure that's great for Texas. Also, recently named a semifinalist for the Burlsworth Trophy, which is given to the best college football player who started his career as a walk-on. That's famously what Michael Taaffe was doing at Texas. There's a reason why he's at Texas. There's a reason why he's beloved at Texas. And I think they go get a W against a team that they lost to twice last year. We're all going to think a little bit better about Texas. We're all going to give them more of the benefit that we gave them to start the season, right? When they were the preseason AP coaches poll, RJ top 25, number one team. That 7-point loss to Texas, or excuse me, to Ohio State by Texas on the road, I still think is an offense that's rounding and in shape, but it was a defense that was playing healthy and lights out. They were limiting what Ohio State wanted to do, forcing them to only take what they could get and to play the field position game. If Steve Sarkisian had the kind of offense from Arch Manning that we saw against Vanderbilt, perhaps we're having a different discussion about who the number one team is. Maybe Ohio State took that loss and hasn't rattled off 9 in a row and 13 straight, looking like 14 straight against UCLA, while Texas is fighting for its playoff life with 2 losses already. It's got great wins. But it needs this win against Georgia to not just stay in the college football playoff, but perhaps to knock Georgia out of the college football playoff. Like, this will be interesting, right? Because if Texas has head-to-head over Georgia and Georgia still just has that one loss to Bama, are you going to put in an Ole Miss team that is one loss but also beat Georgia? Probably, right? What does Oklahoma do? What does the ACC do? These are all very important questions that I think need answers to, but only if Texas can upend the apple cart by beating Georgia. Otherwise, it's going to be what it is, right? Right now, it's A&M and Bama. That's probably going to be the SEC championship game. Things don't change. Ole Miss, and then Georgia, right? If Texas can beat Georgia, they get that spot because they've already beaten Oklahoma. Georgia beating Texas would be great for Oklahoma, right? But Oklahoma would have to still beat Alabama, and nobody's been able to do that in SEC competition. Whole lot of moving and shaking is about to go on this weekend. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about it. We're going to find out just who's good in that second tier of the SEC. We're going to find out what the ACC's backbone looks like because Louisville and Clemson are going to play on Friday night. Maybe Minnesota makes a game of it with Oregon. And oh, by the way, Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. It's going to be a lot of fun.